San Francisco 49ers, I do want to ask them this. Is there any team that is on their level when healthy and they're playing their best? Because when they're playing their best and when they're healthy, Joe Shasky, they have the MVP in Brock Purdy right now. And I get it, Dak Prescott, maybe if he wins it, whatever. But I think Brock's playing the best out of any quarterback in the league right now. They got the best running back. They got the best tight end. They have two of the best wide receivers in the game. They have the best left tackle in the game. They have the best linebacker. They are the best of the best of the best. I'm going Marines. I'm going Army. I don't even know which one is that. That's what they are right now. I don't think anyone are on their level. And that goes for the Baltimore Ravens, who you'll see on Christmas Day. It's pretty incredible. Like, this is the most loaded 49ers team you've seen, 30-plus years?
Easy.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it really is. And it does feel like this is their best chance. Now, things can change.
It does feel like that.
You can have injuries. Like, it is such a week-to-week league. Like, they could lay an egg this weekend and completely fall down into the 2 or 3 seed, and then everything changes.
What's the line on this game? They're like 2 touchdowns.
I'm just saying, Joe. I'm just saying.
I know. Kyler Murray can give you fits. We'll see.
You just never know. I mean,
Bosa loves going up against Kyler, though. He still remembers that draft day where he thought he should have gone first overall. He does. That's a chip. No, I'm saying, if you're looking at a prop bet this week, I would take the over in Bosa sacks. Lock it in. Yeah. He gets up for these games against, for whatever reason.
I kind
of like that too. That's why I locked it in again.
Well, I was just thinking about this, and this is a fun exercise. It's
13.5 points, by the way.
We don't have to be dead serious on all this, but just a fun exercise. You were talking about Christian McCaffrey, best running back in the game.
Not even close.
I feel like I'm watching the height of the position in the modern era, right? When I watched Steph Curry, I felt like I was watching the height of shooting.
It's different because I want to give respect to Derrick Henry because he has been the best running back in football since he's gotten into the league. And again, it's so funny that the 2 best running backs in the league now, Derrick Henry's kind of having an off year, although he did get a huge touchdown for me in fantasy last night. You'll look up at the end of the year and he still has like 1,300 yards or whatever.
Always.
He's just unbelievable. But I want to give him his respect. But talking about just a complete back and being able to catch the ball, run it, do all the different route combinations, I think you're right. It's unbelievable. He is playing. You were listing off all like the greatest players of all time, like the greatest offenses, like trios.
Yeah.
And Marshall Faulk, that greatest show on turf, the first season with Kurt Warner winning MVP and stuff, he was pretty incredible.
Well,
not since Marshall Faulk. Yeah.
It's Marshall Faulk. Well, LT.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
About LT.
Hey, well, I'm scarred. I have an empty part of my brain because he just destroyed us
since 2011.
Yeah.
It's 13 years ago. So like in this particular era, like when I think of the height of hitting, it's Barry Bonds. Who would be the height of pitching?
Justin Verlander.
Okay.
Yeah, him or Kershaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Verlander doing it at this age, too, and winning like a Cy Young and being that good, I think it'd be him.
All right, the height of shooting is Steph Curry.
Yes.
Right? What would LeBron's be? Just the height of basketball.
I mean, I was going to say athleticism. Are you guys 39 years old and doing this? Probably like all-around game, maybe. Just like passing, maybe. I don't know. Like
in-season tournament dominance.
Thank you. In-season tournaments.
So like I look at running back, playing running back, and everything that encompasses it. I feel like I'm watching the height of the position. I feel like that in real time right now. I mean,
not even just the positions, just offense in general. Like, I know they're not going to end up being one of the top scoring offenses, but when they're on Joe Shasky, like, it's pick your poison. Because the distribution of Purdy to Debo to Ayuk to Kittle, those are 3 very different players that complement each other so well. It's the route running ability of an Ayuk, who's also a hell of a blocker, and you guys were touching on that yesterday. It's the physical nature of a Debo Samuel with the speed as well. You're not tackling that guy one-on-one. I don't think I've ever seen that happen, someone tackling Debo Samuel one-on-one. And then you got George Kittle, who's got the blocking as well as the speed, as well as the athleticism. I'm not saying he's all tight ends, he's not super fast, but he's fast enough that when he has 20, 25 yards in front of him, he's probably going to score the ball. So they are so pick your poison when it comes to, oh, by the way, if you need a 1-2 punch and you need me to take McCaffrey out real quick, give me Mason, give me Elijah, and we'll be physical if you need us to be. It's a very just well-rounded group that I don't see anyone stopping when they're on and when they are healthy. Like that, it's the biggest compliment I can give. It's balanced.
If I extended to you, hey, George Kittle plays tight end in the most complete way in the league, would you agree?
Yes, I would say he is probably the best because Mark Andrews is now out. I would have given Andrews the nod the last 2 years, but he's hurt. And we'll give George Kittle this. And the whole 49ers, to be quite honest, I know they have some injuries, and we'll play some of the injury report, I should say, from Kyle Shanahan, who spoke to the media yesterday in his media conference call. But they've been healthy, and George Kittle's been healthy. And that's a huge feather in his cap.
Huge.
And Travis Kelce, by the way, I know he had the sick lateral that got called back.
He's the same age as Gronk. Are we surprised?
I mean, George Kittle's been the best tight end in football this year, to me.
I think so. He's been one of them, and he's been very efficient. That's why when he got blasted the other day, in the chest, I was a little worried because it's like, he's been pretty lucky this year not having to come out. And he's awesome. And he's an outstanding player. You could say the same thing about Trent Williams. I mean, he has no hole in his game. Fred Warner has no hole in his game. Like, you're talking about why the Niners are kind of the cream of the crop, and it's because they have top-end players who are the definition of the position in terms of being well-rounded. And then I think about how they play as a collective unit. Is there a better linebacking duo in the game?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you go Ravens, but I'd be just saying I haven't watched enough Ravens football to even make that argument with Roquan Smith and then whoever that other guy is.
Is there a better rhythmic passing game right now in the game in football?
Rhythmic passing game? No. Not when Brock Purdy's on.
I mean, they could beat you at all three levels: the short stuff, the intermediate stuff, and the deep stuff.
When they get going, it does feel, and we scoffed at it. And real quick, I got to get legal real quick, and we'll get back into this. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And don't forget that you can also watch us every day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. 888-957-9570. Comcast Business text line. Call or text that number. We're talking Niners. Is anyone even on their level? Do you fear anyone? Do you even respect anyone that's going up against you? Because right now, I'm getting arrogant, as Bonte would do. If I'm a Niner fan, I'm pretty arrogant right now. You got 4 games left. You got the Cardinals coming up, and then they've been in tank mode most of the year. Kyler Murray, he's kind of playing for his job there, trying out for the rest of the league, I think. You got the Ravens, big game, Christmas, huge. You're going to be there, right? You were talking about it earlier in the season. I don't need to put you on the spot. It's tricky.
I'm getting talked down by the wife.
Oh, she wants you football on Christmas?
I wanted to bring the whole family there. Tickets were outrageous.
Really?
Yeah.
On Christmas?
I know.
That's actually kind of surprising. I feel like, well, maybe not.
I know.
I'm trying to find my Michelle drops.
I do want to watch it, though. I do want to watch it.
They've had a really good couple years.
Had a good couple years, though.
I don't know about that, hun. But no, like right now, it just feels like the Niners are the healthiest they've been this late in the season in a long time. I know last year at the end of the year, they were pretty healthy, but at the time, we didn't know Brock would emerge as what Brock is. We assumed they were down to their third quarterback. We didn't assume like, oh, he's QB1 for a decade.
I was the first voice on the airways the next morning, that Monday morning. I said, the 49ers season's over. They're not winning a Super Bowl. Yeah, thank you for the drop. Like, they weren't. I said that. I was like, hey, we can laugh and scoff at Jimmy Garoppolo all you want. Like, he was the guy that never got it done. When Jimmy got hurt last year, the season was over until it wasn't. And it's like, and I remember we got a caller on the morning roast that morning who said that Brock Purdy, I saw this Purdy kid. He kind of reminded me of Joe Montana. In a half of football, he reminded you of Joe Montana. He kind of reminds you of Drew Brees. These are 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time. And now all of a sudden, I mean, I'm not going to say they're right because they has to put the longevity, but he's playing like an MVP, something Drew Brees never did.
And Joe Montana did it for 20 years.
I'm saying the longevity.
Yeah.
But I scoffed at the even notion that he would even be up.
But let's
the level of play right now, I'm saying, is up to par with those guys, which is unbelievable.
Let's talk about Drew Brees. What made Drew Brees great?
Accuracy, getting the ball on time, and he was also in kind of, I don't want to say a similar offense, but cerebral.
Yes.
Like he knew to check at the line.
Processing,
yes.
Never putting the ball in harm's way.
He was never the most physically gifted.
No.
Like Brock. Like stature-wise, Brock might even be a little taller than Drew Brees. But
when you say, I think his feet were underrated.
Yes.
Even though he wasn't what I would call mobile.
I thought he was tough, too.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. And he get hurt, but he was tough.
Aren't those all the qualities that we're bestowing upon Brock Purdy?
And a Christian, so there you go.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah. No, but like, to me, I think that the closest comp, and everyone in the league has been looking for the next Drew Brees, right? If you can't find Josh Allen, you're looking for the next Drew Brees. When Baker Mayfield went number 1 overall, the guy that everyone kept comping him to was Drew Brees, but with more of a swashbuckler attitude, right? Brock Purdy is everything that you look for when you're looking to try to get the next Drew Brees, but I think he's got more mobility by a long shot than Drew Brees.
Yes, and it's funny because Drew Brees, like, he was the first pick in the second round. Like, he wasn't some, like, one-off, like, late round. Like, no, he was, like, a legit prospect coming into the NFL with the San Diego Chargers.
But wouldn't you agree quarterback inflation has kind of changed how we draft quarterbacks in this modern, like, you're going to see 6 or 7 guys go in the first couple rounds. Back then, it'd be like 1 or 2 guys.
We're going to see 4 in the first 10 picks this year.
You think so?
It's going to be pretty much all the guys you've seen this year. You're going to see Caleb up there. I think he's going to be 1. Drake May's the consensus number 2. Some people might have him at 1. And then you got either Penix or Jaden Daniels. I think they're all going in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's pretty unbelievable.
No,
but again,
you're right.
We just saw this with the quarterback draft with the 49ers.
I mean,
be very weary of stuff like this when we say this is the greatest quarterback class of all time.
Well, did you think CJ Stroud would end up doing what he did?
Yeah. I think Bonte and I were very high on him because of the Georgia game. I wanted the Raiders to get him bad.
Really?
Very bad. Oh. And then there were reports after it that Dave Ziegler wanted him and Josh McDaniels was a Bryce Young fan. I was like, just shut up, all of you. And now they're in tank mode. They can't even score a freaking point against the Minnesota Vikings. Why'd you get me on this topic? Now I'm upset. Well, but like, it's an inexact science, but a lot of it right now is shifted to your point. Like, you look at Mahomes. He's what you want. That's what everyone's looking at, try to get, and no one's going to get him, right? So that's why when the 49ers drafted Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant, it's like, he's the antithesis of Patrick Mahomes. Wouldn't you agree with that? When it comes to the physical skill set, when it comes to the off-scripted plays.
But I think we've underrated his physical skill set. Like, at what point has his arm not been good enough?
It's been good enough. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
It's been good enough. It hasn't been like throwing a laser when you need to in the elements.
Okay.
Like but again,
ball seems to always get to his target.
Brock's not playing in Kansas City, so maybe that's a different conversation. In the wintertime, like there's elements to this. If Brock Purdy was in the AFC North, maybe I would view him differently because he'd be playing in a lot of bad weather games. So there is different levels to that. And Drew Brees, he was a dome quarterback, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't very good. Peyton Manning, a dome quarterback. So that's fine. Brock Purdy's perfect here in Santa Clara because his skill suits his skill set. Easy enough for me to say.
I just find it super funny that everyone is like basically demeriting him for having an elite roster around him, and he's made the most of it. And yet, when every quarterback gets drafted, for right now, like, look at Justin Fields. What is everyone saying? I mean, he's playing with nobody. How can we make an evaluation on him? He's playing with nobody. When we drafted Alex Smith, he had no weapons. He had no offensive line. He didn't have a coordinator. Everyone is trying to build the roster around the quarterback to take pressure off the quarterback. And that's literally what every team in the league is trying to do. And yet, for some reason, it's a negative against Brock Purdy when he's maximized all of the settings around him. Well, you could have I could put how many quarterbacks in Brock's place and not get a fraction of the production.
I have an